Does it not?
I don't think it does, but
Well, we're gonna learn today, mate.
yeah. So shit. Yeah, I slept late. You slept late yesterday. It's not like we missed anything as far as club rugby, as almost every single fucking South African team got their shit handed to them yesterday.
Yeah.
Lions, the one sole win out of all of it, which was, I mean, uh, did you guys get any of that rain yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was pissing down here, mate. Like fucking hail 3 times, like whilst it's raining. It was like flooding up to my door almost. So yeah, it was raining. It was pissing down.
So these are the scores of the games. I did watch most of the Lions game. I watched the Bulls and part of the Bulls game. I really watched the Stormers and Sharks games, which were like fucking God, man. Andre Pollard had a field day against the Sharks. He was man of the match for the Tigers yesterday.
Yeah.
We expected the Stormers to get the shit beat out of them with all their injuries, and then like hyping up Solomon Morat's return, which we both have been vocal
Yeah.
about.
Pretty
And
fucking average.
yeah, like he's really not all that.
Mhm.
And I mean, like I said, it was kind of one of those things where you felt like, here, I'm gonna adjust this so we're a bit better seen. But you kind of felt like, yeah, like the games were fucking pretty bad. Um, I had already made my statement about it. I finally found somebody that agreed with a statement I had made weeks ago, and I'll see if I can pull up the article here.
Mhm.
So a couple of weeks ago, I had made the comment that I don't think the South African side should be competing in either the Champions Cup or the Challenge Cup.
Well, we both said so.
Yeah. And finally, a Northern Hemisphere voice, Dan Bigger, comes out and says the same thing, that, like, look, the travel times, you're sending B squads either up north or down south. It's supposed to be a Champions Cup. It's supposed to be
Yeah.
that you send your best team to compete. And we're clearly not seeing that when it comes to South African sides. We're
Yeah.
not seeing our best teams being sent. I mean, I feel for the Cheetahs. They can't even play at home. Their home stadium is Amsterdam, which I feel for the Cheetahs, but then I don't, because it's fucking Amsterdam. Like, I would love it, you know what I mean? Who wouldn't want to make Amsterdam their home base? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, for sure.
you understand the language of the native population, and two, it's fucking Amsterdam, man. Like,
You can do whatever the fuck
you
you
can do
want
whatever the fuck
and
you
get away
want.
with it.
Like, yeah, dude. Like, if you want to go pay for what you can, it's legal there. All this stuff is legal there, and I mean, like, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. On that side point of view, I get it, but like at the same time,
Yeah.
if we're not sending our best squads, why are we even playing in the tournament? Like, I just
Yeah, look, I mean, we both said it before. The risk is just too great. I mean, look at Martin Lubbock out because playing in the
yeah, we
championship
still don't
club.
know how long he's out
Look,
for. He's
look
posted
at
on social media.
what's the flanker's name again?
Ben
Uh,
Jason Dixon,
yeah,
or
Ben Jason Dixon.
yeah,
He was injured out. Um, like there's a couple of players that got injured, and like for what? What's the motivation, mate? Like I don't
yeah.
understand.
I
Like
would
why
rather
do you do
win
it?
a URC title, honestly,
Yeah,
personally. Give me a URC title for club rugby. Give me Rugby Championship World Cup. That's for test. But like, yeah, I just don't see, and I agree, I don't see the motivation. Like, I get Europeans are all about it, and I guess
yeah.
that's because you can't win bigger.
Look, I mean,
It's
I
just
don't have any problem having the championship cup. Okay, I have a problem with it being mid other fucking competitions.
during
That's what
everything
I've got
else.
the
Yeah,
problem
do,
with.
do it
I mean, if
after
you
the
play it
season's.
afterwards,
Yeah,
no
yeah,
problem, mate. Go for it. Go get another paycheck, whatever,
yeah.
right? But I mean, whilst another competition is ongoing, now you have to stop that competition for this competition, and it's just like,
Oh,
fuck, bro. Like this
and
is
then we do it
ridiculous.
again for the Six Nations, and then we
Yeah,
do it again to finish this out. Like, it's so confusing to
yeah,
me, like all these different tournaments going on. But Another thing I did want to bring up is obviously 5 South African sides did not really do all that well, but
Mm.
I mean, look at how many imports are on these fucking teams, man. Like, and I think the
Yeah.
argument is, and that's normal for Europeans. Like, they're totally
Yeah.
normal to that shit. And Super Rugby, you didn't see that shit.
No,
Like, you did.
no, you didn't.
Well, I won't lie. I mean, obviously, you'll see it with New Zealand, Australia, but we had the Lions. I don't know if you remember when they had an American guy on the team.
I can't actually recall, to be honest. Not an
Todd,
American guy.
yeah, Todd Cleaver. He was a
I
USA
remember
Eagle.
there was one. Well, not in. He was not from the USA. I think he was
Yeah,
from like Ireland or Scotland or something. There
yeah.
was like a winger on Stormers. I think it was.
It was an English guy. English guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Some guy, but
So like,
there wasn't. Yeah,
there was an American that played for the Lions for a bit, Todd Clever. It's kind of one of those things when South Africans will be like, "Do you remember that guy?" And I'm like, "I know that guy. I've met that
yeah,
guy." When I met him, I asked him about his time in Super Rugby, and this was
yeah,
Super Rugby at its peak, like 2009, 2013 era. Like, he was playing in it
yeah,
when it was the top shit in the world, and he was
yeah,
like, "Yeah, it was the top league in the world. Period.
yeah,
The end." You know.
yeah,
So it's we're not used to it. Like, as South African, I mean, especially me, because I didn't follow Northern Hemisphere rugby. I never followed it. It was always
yeah,
Super Rugby, Southern Hemisphere, and you see this, and you're like, I know that's the norm for Europeans, but it's not the norm for us. Like, to
yeah,
have so many imported players on your team, and I guess it kind of crosses over with their national sides too. The amount
yeah,
of
yeah.
national side players that are not of that nation. So I just I made that post. Some people got pissed. They were like, "Oh, are you jealous because you can't afford them?" I'm like, "No, I'm used to my team being made up of players, people from that country.
Yeah,
This is very American. Like,
yeah,
America does that shit. I guess
yeah.
Europe does it too, but." So that's really all I have to say. It's fucking
To
terrible.
be to be quite frank, it's got nothing to do with jealousy. It's got everything to do with the fact that we prefer it that way. We
That's
don't
yeah,
want people from abroad in our teams.
yeah. I mean,
We want the best of South Africa going up against the best of whatever else, right?
yeah.
We don't want in the Bulls. We don't want fucking foreign players, mate. Same with Stormers, same with Sharks. I don't want them to have any players from other countries. It's got nothing to do with the budget. In fact, if they don't get paid enough, they should get paid more to stay on, right?
That's
Instead
my
of going
argument too.
abroad.
Is they were like, maybe you wouldn't
Um,
lose so many players if you paid better,
mm,
and I'm like, well, that's the nature of the beast. Is that
yeah,
we can't. Andre Pollard. I'm sure Andre Pollard would love to play in South Africa if he can make €1 million a year.
yeah,
But we don't, like, South Africa doesn't have that kind of money to pay for a single player. It just doesn't come out that
yeah.
way. Um,
Well, I mean, we saw some of the other guys' salaries coming out from the Shark side this week. I don't know why I keep getting the updates on it. Oh, Sia Khaleesi's salary revealed. This one's
wait,
salary revealed.
wait, are you serious? What were the
Yeah.
salaries like? What were they? Were they good?
So
Competitive?
Khaleesi was getting about 18 million, 18.5 million a year.
Okay,
Yeah, if I recall. But I'm assuming that is excluding like sponsorship deals and all that kind of
that's
stuff.
all
You
on
know?
top of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but yeah, so 18 and a half, I think it was. I can't remember. I don't think I actually went to go check out Gibbons, but I would assume it's probably around about there as well. And I mean, these guys play for the Sharks, right? So they get decent salaries in South Africa, mate. Like, like guys like, for instance, Pollard and what's his face, Cheslin Colby, Faf de Klerk. They all were like highest paid players at one stage, and they were getting like 21 million. Okay, in the world, mate. So the point is that our team's players are getting paid very comparable
I
salaries
take
to
that back.
salaries abroad.
After doing that conversion, yeah, you could pay Andre Pollard that much because that's
Yeah,
about what Sia's salary is. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, so this is the point, right? So I don't think it's got to do with being able to afford people. I think just like Pollard maybe wasn't always first choice, I guess, in a lot of teams. So, and also bearing in mind in South Africa, there's not much of like a lot of people struggle to see the future for their children in the country, so they want to be able to go abroad and maybe offer them something else.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's for everybody to make their own decision, right? That's not for us to say. Like for me, I think there's a future in South Africa, right? But there's a lot of people that don't feel the same way, right? And so I don't blame people for wanting to go abroad and broaden their horizons and see what they can do, and maybe for their children's sake,
I think
growing up there.
Yeah, I think that's the unique situation though too, is that like when All Blacks, when they have guys go abroad, they look at it as like a slight towards them.
Mm,
When we have players go abroad, I don't look at it as a slight. I look at it as like you're a professional athlete, go get your money. Like I
yeah,
don't look at it as like Cheslin Colby could have come and played back in South Africa, but chose to go to
yeah,
Japan because Cheslin Colby can make that kind of money. And I don't look
yeah,
I think that's a unique situation with South Africa. Argentina obviously has the same type of situation, is
yeah,
that we don't look down at our players who choose to go abroad because they can still play for the Springboks. And like when Sia wanted to go play in France, I was like, go get
yeah.
that money, buddy. Go get your bag. Like I
The,
got
I guess the difference is as well is that you know South Africa has got quite a uh, like what's the word I'm looking for? Quite an output in terms of talent that they do,
oh,
right?
there's more than you can keep. That's why you have so
Yeah.
many playing for other countries.
So that's the difference, right? So we don't need to go buy in people from other countries. We just select from our pool that we've got, which some other countries and they just don't have the talent available to choose from. Okay, so they have to make it up with foreign players, right, to be competitive. So I guess what I want to say to that people that was like trying to like come at you from whatever perspective they were trying to come at you with. The fact is, buddy, that you guys just don't have enough fucking good players, so you need our players to come play for you. So it's got nothing to do with jealousy. It's just we're helping you out, mate. So shut the fuck up and sit down.
Yeah.
All right.
Take the face of Irish rugby right now is a Kiwi and a South African.
Yeah.
Don't,
So
so don't you dare say a fucking thing about the Southern Hemisphere's rugby
yeah,
because obviously it's good enough to be the face of your rugby. Um,
yeah. And I mean, if you have a look at like what's it, Scotland, who's got that South African coach?
uh,
Scotland? Is it
no,
Scotland?
Scotland is Gregor Townsend.
Who's that? There's another team, man. Like that's got a South African coach. Like that's pretty a good team.
oh God.
Or is it a provincial team? I can't
It's
fucking
yeah,
remember,
it's
man.
a professional.
I think it's
A
like
lot
Glasgow
of
Warriors. Actually, I think it's Glasgow Warriors or somebody,
yeah,
right? Who's got a South African coach. Okay.
yeah. Somebody. I mean,
Why?
they're everywhere. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Why don't you get somebody from
why
your own fucking place?
why is Jock Nienaber at Leinster?
Yeah.
Because
So the bottom
it's
line
a
is
good paycheck.
we've got good people
Yeah,
and we got ample good people. And yeah, sure, we've got one of your fucking coaches as well
yeah,
from New Zealand. But guess what? New Zealand didn't see the talent they had in him. So that guy also needs a salary and needs to also be able to look after his family and whatnot. So he needs a fucking paycheck himself. So what did he do? He came to South Africa. What the
yeah.
fuck?
I watched an episode. I'd say yesterday, but it was late Friday night. You guys, because you're 8 hours ahead. But
Mhm.
Coach's Corner on Supersport,
Yeah.
and they had an entire episode about Tony Brown and the Irish guy we have.
Yeah.
God, I can't even think of his name now.
Yeah. I
Anyways,
mean, yeah.
the two foreign coaches that we have on our coaching staff and why they came here, and they're both reasons for being here is I want to further my career.
Yeah.
I would like to coach my country's national side. I'm coming here to learn from the best to
Yeah.
go and do that. Like Felix Jones was in with the English camp. He walked away or he got let go. Felix Jones will coach a nation one day. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of time. He's young. It's a matter of
Yeah.
time. It's going to happen. You know, these guys come here and that's fine. And we don't take that as like, oh, Tony Brown wants to be. No, he doesn't want to be South African. He's a Kiwi. He's a
Mm.
proud All Black, but he wants
Yeah.
to come here to be a better coach. And he wants to
Yeah.
learn from somebody like Rossi Erasmus how to be a better coach. And
Yeah.
I salute them for it. Those guys,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like we welcome them. Hey, come here. Yeah. If you want to learn, come and play. Like, I don't even have we kind of go back to, we don't import players and stuff like that. Yeah. But when they do show up, I don't
Yeah.
look down at them.
No,
I don't think any less of them.
no, look, I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, I mean, we don't really want South African players except South African players, to be quite frank. But when
Yeah.
it comes to coaching, it's a little bit different because, I mean, those people come with a different like perspective.
Oh yeah.
And we don't grow coaches, but we do grow players, you know, from the ground up. And yeah, some obviously the coaches are South African and they are homegrown, but I mean, like it's not like we have the same unlimited milling coming out from coaches, regardless, you
Yeah.
know. So I mean, there is some, yeah, and there is some good coaches like Ackerman, who's fucking fantastic, like Rassi Erasmus, like we obviously said. It's fantastic. And there is like I still think Dobson is not a bad coach, mate. Like I mean, like we
It's
said, he brought the
injuries.
Stormers
Yeah.
to a URC title.
Yeah.
So yeah, at the end of the day, I don't even know what the point was of what we started, but I mean, the fact is that whoever wants to come at us say, "Yo, we can't afford our players," shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
go do the maths, mate. It's just we got so many options in our pools. It's like we're helping you guys out. So shut the fuck up.
So the title of today's episode was News Notes and a Napolean Complex.
Yeah.
So I want to lead into this next point here, and this is totally at the beginning is not rugby related, but we'll go ahead and start it off here. So the 2034 soccer FIFA World Cup has been awarded to Saudi Arabia. Okay, this is going to be a decade after it was held in Qatar.
Yep.
We all know why it's being held there. It's because they bought it. They went out and they bought it because that's what FIFA is at this point.
Yeah. They're for sale.
And it kind of got into the debate of, you know, World Rugby is becoming FIFA the more you watch it. And if you ask me why I think that, Japan had no business hosting a Rugby World Cup. Now, it was a great success, obviously, for them.
Yes. Yeah.
And you know, I don't have any problems with it. It was a great World Cup. Obviously, the typhoon made things different. But why would you hold the Rugby World Cup in a country that averages 3,000 in attendance to rugby union matches? And the answer is very simple. It's because we're rich. We have a shitload of money. Okay, that's why. Because World Rugby is just as dirty as FIFA. You buy what you can get.
Yeah.
And this
It's
started.
quite funny that you can hold it in a country that struggles to qualify for the same competition.
Exactly. And it brought up a really big debate, not just in my comment section, but in my inbox.
Yeah.
And you had a certain country say, oh, we could host one too if we wanted to. You have 7 million people. You have four stadiums of more than 60,000 capacity. Ireland, you will never host a Rugby World Cup by yourself. It will never fucking happen. Period. You are not a big enough country. Oh, we spent all this at a children's hospital. Your taxpayers would lose their shit. over having to fund something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know. So the reason I bring you into this conversation
Yeah,
is
sure.
the obvious omission of the most successful country in the tournament. And 1995, which is where
Yeah.
I learned about the game, where I saw the game for the first time, and we have gotten fuck all since.
Yeah.
And you will talk to people and they'll say, oh, this, that, and the other. Then you get in comment sections and you realize the real reason why it's not being held in South Africa. And it's because people don't like South Africa.
Yeah.
They think it's poor and it's a third world country and yada yada
Mhm.
yada. The reason I bring this up is how long do you think before we see a World Cup in United Arab Emirates?
Yeah, it's probably the next one. Yeah, fuck, man. Like, I don't understand the logic behind some of these things, right? There's obviously people much bigger than we are pulling the strings with regards to this stuff. But hello, next gen T. Um, but yeah, look, I mean, I don't know. I don't think South Africa's going to see it for a while still. So, I mean, it's a long way away. I mean, we've got what, Australia in 2027,
And
right?
then
And
here
then
in
we got the USA.
yeah.
And so that's already in itself, it's like what, fucking 6 years.
Yeah.
So from there, 10 years from now, we'll probably still not fucking host it. Um, and unfortunately, I think the reasoning behind it as well is we're already so successful everywhere else. And if we had to like host that motherfucker, nobody else is gonna win.
Well, somebody had brought up the fact that New Zealand has gotten to host it multiple times, and I'm like,
Yeah,
well, one, New Zealand doesn't have to build stadiums for it,
yeah,
and once again, Ireland, we wouldn't have to either. I'm like, you can't play World Cup games in 20,000 seat stadiums, guys.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
going to happen.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's gonna be too many people.
it's New Zealand's able to do it because their stadiums are test level stadiums. You have
Yeah,
club stadiums. South Africa, we've brought this up, the attendance at the games in South Africa. Yeah, because South African teams play in test level stadiums. They don't play in club stadiums in your backyard. Like it's
yeah,
not the same. Like you can't compare Ellis Park to your 15,000 seat stadium. They're not the same. Ellis Park is a world. You could hold a final in Ellis Park. You could not hold a final at your club stadium down the street.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
100%.
and
No,
I
it just
think
doesn't work that way.
um this guy that was a spam guy. That's why.
Yeah, no, I thought
Uh,
so.
so it's because I'm streaming to Twitch too. That's why. Um, but like it's I bring this up because okay, 2010. Okay, you hosted the FIFA World Cup.
Yeah.
Did you even care? Did you have anything to do with that? Did you go to any games for
Nah.
that? Fuck no, because you hate soccer.
No, because I don't give a fuck about soccer, mate.
Exactly.
So-
So I don't know if anybody remembers from the offset, right out the box, immediately. You got on social media, dude. They were regretting that shit immediately
yeah.
because South Africa was in the midst of a bit of a drug epidemic at the time. The country wasn't really ready. I know that
Yeah.
stadium that they built next to Kings Park for the World Cup is not even structurally sound anymore. It's just an
Yeah.
eyesore at this point. Um, the stadium that they built in Polokwane, which is still being used, is never at more than like half capacity because they built it for a
Yeah.
World Cup and it was way too fucking big for the local population. And having to explain to people, and maybe it's because we're older and we know how these things work. You don't
Yeah.
make money on a World Cup.
Yeah.
It's about how much you can piss off the Olympics in Paris, the most
Mm.
expensive Olympics in history. The next Olympics are being held in Los Angeles, California. They've already outspent Paris 5 times.
Don't get me started on that fucking Paris Olympics, mate. That like that
But
entry,
you get what it
like
is.
that's
It's about what country has the most money to piss off.
oh fuck, man. Like I gotta be honest with that Paris Olympics, mate. Like I watched when I started like watching, it was like the intro fucking
The
shit that they
opening
were doing.
ceremony, the opening
Yeah, that ceremony.
yeah.
I was like, what the fuck are you like the French must be very artistic or something because
Yeah,
I don't get
yeah,
it. I
yeah.
do not fucking get it, mate. Like I think it's above my pay grade. Like I was like, I don't get what the fuck is going on here. It's such a fucking travesty. I don't understand what these oaks are on about. It's not. I was just like,
And
nah,
and
mate.
like I said, it's not they try to make it like it's about sportsmanship and goodwill when
Mm.
really at the end of the day, it's just like, "Hey, everybody, look how fucking rich we are." That's what it
Yeah,
really is at the end of the
this is the
day.
point I'm trying to say. Is like,
Yeah.
I don't get, like you got this whole spectacle going down, but I'm like, all right, mate, y'all go flex over there, but we're gonna stay the fuck out of it. I'm not wanting to get interested.
Well, so, like, during the World Cup, the Rugby World Cup that was held prior to the Olympics, we saw was it prior or after? Prior to it.
No, I think it was after the Olympics, was it not?
After the Olympics. Well, I don't know if you noticed during all of that when they would show like coming back from like a commercial break when they would do like the overhead of the stadiums and shit like that.
Yeah,
It was always the same exact video that you would see. It was like one of 3 videos, it'd be like a drone flying up to the stadium and
yeah.
showing all the stadium aglow. Well, I had a lot of friends that went over to France for the World Cup, and I had a few that went for the Olympics. And you want to know why they use those same stock videos every single time?
I don't know. Tell me.
Because there was fucking garbage in the streets. They were in
I
the
can
middle of
imagine
a
that.
strike. The rubbish union was in the middle of a strike during both
Yeah,
of those tournaments. So there was bags of rubbish everywhere. But that's not what you saw as an international viewer. You saw beautiful
yeah,
Paris, France, and all this nice shit. You didn't see the fact that like the people are like fucking livid with the government at this point, and then watching an Olympics and Rugby World Cup where you're just pissing money out the fucking window when you could be
yeah.
paying people. And that's the point
I remember some of those videos,
yeah,
mate.
yeah, of like just rats and rubbish bags lined up on the side of the street and people doing drugs and crapping
And
on
people sleeping. I saw a lot of videos
people
of people
wrestling.
sleeping under bridges and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
homeless people and stuff
Oh,
like that.
shit, the Olympics that were in Brazil, they built fucking walls so you wouldn't see the slums back behind the fucking they're doing, like, the bicycle racing and shit, and there's a fucking slum up the fucking hill next to where it's happening. Like, they built fucking walls so the cameras couldn't see it. Uh,
Yeah,
the Beijing Winter Olympics where they were doing the ski jumps, they had to put a facade up because there's a fucking power plant right behind it. Like,
yeah,
it's
mate. Like,
it
look,
people don't understand when you host these world tournaments, it's not about goodwill. It's about showing everybody, hey, everybody, look how much extra money we have to piss off. Like, it's not, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
fuck.
Nah, bro. I'm telling you, like the amount of people that think that South Africa is just like so much beneath everybody else in terms of like on a global scale. And when we just mentioned all these different types of like Paris, like Brazil, like all these
Yeah.
countries, all are having their own fucking problems, and people still think that we're the problem. Like, no, mate, we're not a problem. Okay, it's just that's perception, and that's the first thing. Second thing is it's not where the money's at. Okay, so because we don't want to throw okay, to be quite frank, we've got the money. We don't want to throw the money towards that because we're busy using it as our politicians. You know what I mean? Our
Yeah.
politicians are busy taking the money. They don't want to spend that fucking money they can be taking, pissing away themselves to go and throw on shit like that. So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Give me just, I'm going to pull up something else here just to kind of give everybody a bit of context here. So, We were just talking about it. The Olympics to come to Los Angeles. You know, we've got the nice little logo for the LA Olympics up. Oh, it's LA. It's going to be great and everything. Yeah, let me show
Oh, no
you.
shit, mate.
Let me show you downtown Los Angeles, everybody. That's downtown LA. That's not an old photo. That's probably like recent, like last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's Los Angeles, United States. Everybody, you can say, "Oh, well, that's Los Angeles. That's like that." No, me and my missus went to Dallas last night. Dallas looks like, dude. Every major
Yeah.
city in America looks like this now.
Yeah.
But
They just go to like the rich suburbs, okay, and they think that's what LA represents. No, mate,
yeah,
it's not. It's not what the fuck. It's not what it represents. Because the normal people, the everyday Joe like you and I,
yeah,
those are the guys living there, mate. Like they're living in fucking tents and shit. Like we've got some, like poverty in South Africa, like for
yeah.
real. Like it is a real problem, right? But let's not pretend or act like it is unique and a unique problem to Africa, okay?
It's
Because it
everywhere.
fucking ain't.
It's everywhere, and
It is everywhere.
yeah, and I think that's the main point I wanted to bring up is that like, look, yes, it's about money. Yes, World Rugby, FIFA, the Olympics, it's about money. But at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing that it's about that nobody wants to say out loud is it's about countries wanting to completely gloss over the fact that they're not perfect. So they're going to spend all this money to show the world that they are. So
So
Ireland,
I,
could
I
you
would
host a World
imagine.
Cup? Yes, but should you? Never. Never.
I think it's got to do as well with the simple fact that you know this type of thing, like this type of sport, okay, on a global scale, like it's a long term investment, I guess, if you want to call it that, okay, because it does something for your tourism division, or your tourism side of your country. So, um, fortunately, countries like France and whatnot, they obviously would get the return long term, right?
Yeah.
Um, South Africa, on the other hand, we need to do a little bit more than just hosting a World Cup to be able to solve our long term tourism problems because of the long standing stigma that we've been having for many years abroad. And I mean, you still deal with it daily,
Yeah.
that people, well, maybe not at your workplace anymore, but that's probably because you've educated the people around you. But
Yeah.
those that don't know, they obviously think the worst part of us. They think South Africa is a cesspool. They think it's falling apart, and it's just like fucking poor children standing there with flies on their eyes and shit. Like not having food, and it's not all like that, mate. Like South Africa is so much more than that. Okay. Yes, we do have our poverty, just like every other fucking country. We've got poverty. Okay,
Yeah.
but we also have a very westernized civilization. Yeah. Okay, like if you come from the US and you come to South Africa, where do you go? You fucking come here on the plane, mate. You
Yeah.
don't take a fucking rowboat. Okay, you come here on the plane. You land on one of the like the most like fucking awesome airports, which is our Tambo. Okay, and you fucking can go anywhere from there. Like we've got cars and we got actual tar roads and you know, we've got toll booths even, that fucking cost you money to go through there,
And
man. Anyway,
like I said, it's the idea that people outside, and I don't even want to say just South Africa, because even the Southern Hemisphere, they don't feel that way about South
yeah,
Africa. Like
yeah,
Argentina doesn't, New Zealand, Australia, like I don't think they feel that
yeah,
way. I think it's people north of the equator that feel
yeah.
that way. And
Well,
it's
when you're discussing sports, okay, the people that play international sports, like from the UK and
yeah,
everywhere, okay,
yeah,
they know the facts. Okay, they know that South Africa is very modern, and I mean, We've got ridiculous internet speeds. Imagine we've got internet. Like you and I, we're on this call
Terrible.
via internet, mate. Like I've got my own fucking internet. Can you believe it, bro?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
must be fucking wealthy as shit. No, I'm not. I'm fucking average as shit. But the fact is
Would
that,
you consider yourself middle class, Pierre? Are you middle class?
yeah, I'm middle class. I think I'm middle class, mate.
Now, for those outside of South Africa, that's kind of like America has a massive, we're middle class.
Yeah,
America has a massive middle class. I think that's the difference in South Africa is you don't have a massive middle class. Like you have a very small wealthy class, an okay size, but unfortunately for a grand majority, it's
yeah,
not that way,
yeah,
unfortunately. And
yeah.
things are going to get better. There is a
Yeah,
future.
man.
We
There's people like myself. I mean, I'm not trying to like toot my own horn here, but there's people like myself
You don't come
that
from
employ
middle
people.
class. You don't come from
Yeah,
middle
no,
class.
sure, we don't come from much, but what I'm trying to say is we try and employ people, to try and give them a future. So, we need to try and invest back into the country, mate. Like, this is the thing, right? Unfortunately, we do not always have a government that's got our back. So we have to invest in our own people. We need to try and give them a way out, to make them live, like, afford a living. So, and I enjoy doing what I do, to be honest, and I enjoy having people work for me, and I enjoy, sometimes like you've got these people working for you, and they're like for a very long time they seem like they're struggling, and then one day the light bulb goes off. Oh fuck! I never thought of it this way.
Yeah,
Like it just makes sense to them all of a sudden, and you know that's those rewarding moments, right? The rewarding moments come when you see that you've affected somebody, like on a positive note, and yeah, so that's a bit of a thing that unfortunately the small businesses and the medium enterprises, they need to start looking after people from South Africa, mate. Like
yeah,
we need to try and invest back in our people to try and make it more successful, right? Because unfortunately, um, yeah, there's not a hell of a lot coming from government. It needs to come from the private sector.
yeah. And I think with the way things are kind of heading in the direction, I don't want to talk about politics too much because that's not what this channel is.
Yep.
But finally having a GNU that seems to be working, a government of national unity that really seems to be working at the moment, it's going in a
Yeah.
positive direction. And that is the push. It's from the private
Yeah.
sector. You're not
Yeah.
going to get anything efficiently done by a government that is inefficient
Yeah.
as hell. So let's have some efficiency here, folks.
Yeah.
And it's a positive thing. Like I said, I look forward to returning to South Africa with my wife. Is it going to be a culture shock for her? Yes, very much so.
I fucking hope so, mate.
But I think she's also going to like realize, holy shit, no wonder you liked being here so much. Like
Yeah.
because it is absolutely so. I want to segue into a hypothetical. Okay, say we are awarded the 2035 Rugby World Cup in South Africa. So that would mean I myself would be going to back Rugby World Cups to visit because it'd be here, and then I would be going to South Africa for 2035. If we were
Yeah.
to hypothetically get that, obviously the 95 final held in Emirates Airlines Park. It's Ellis Park, people. It's not. That's just the sponsorship name. Where would we hold the final this time? Would
They'll
you do
probably
it?
go back there again, eh?
You don't think maybe they wouldn't move it to like FMB down in Soweto because it seats like 180 to 100,000, I think.
Yeah, I think those tickets are going to be so fucking expensive, mate. Like, and they're going to be so sold out, like in fucking 20 minutes, type thing, right? So I don't know. I don't know where they might go there, but I don't know. I don't know where they would go. But
I'm
I
looking for
mean,
I'm looking for my ski mask. That's how we'll get tickets. We're hitting the money
yeah,
truck, man. We're getting World Cup final tickets in South
for
Africa.
sure,
We're hitting
mate.
the money truck.
God, bro. Like,
Give me
yeah,
your Rugby World Cup tickets of your life. Don't be a statistic.
yeah. We going to the World Cup, but we just picking up our tickets up outside the place, like outside the stadium, just before the game. From we don't know who we're getting it from. We don't know where our tickets are. They might be on the side. They might be in the booth.
The
We
guy's
don't
like,
know.
man, I got 100,000 rand in my pocket. Do you want it? No, I'll take your tickets, buddy. That's it. I'm out of peace. I don't. Officer, he robbed us. It was gunpoint. He robbed us. What did he take? Our tickets. He didn't take your money. No. Did he take your wallet? No. He just took our tickets.
And then the cop's like, okay, so give me your money.
Because in South Africa, it's like, oh, he didn't get the ticket. I'll take the money from you. Did he take your cell phone? No. They just took our tickets. We don't know. They went running towards the stadium with our tickets.
Yes, I'm a bit thirsty there, Baba. You want us to do something about it? There's a KFC down the road, mate.
That would totally be something that I could see happening. But okay, so hypothetically, if they held it, you think it would be Ellis Park for the final again? Do you think we would continue to use the stadiums that we have currently in South Africa, or do you think they need to build another one?
Look, they might need to build another one, mate. But where though, I don't know. I mean, we've got Loftus, we've got Ellis Park, we got
Cape Town
the one
Stadium,
in Cape Town. We got the one in
Hollywood
KZN.
Pets Park, Kings Park, I think is what it was really called.
We got the one in Nelspruit.
Is that
now Mbombela?
What is that? Yeah. Nelson Mandela. That one's down in Eastern Cape. That one's big enough too.
Yeah.
So I don't think we'd have to
Mbombela
much. And that would be, like I said, it's a hypothetical thing. I don't think it's going to happen, but if it did, that's the thing about South Africa. You wouldn't have to spend a shitload of money to build anything because it's kind of already there. I think we have the FIFA World Cup coming here to the U.S., then the Olympics, then the Rugby World Cup. Like we get everything because it's the U.S. The big thing was when they announced the FIFA World Cup here, it was where is the final going to be held? Well, the biggest one was where the Dallas Cowboys play because it seats 107,000 people.
Yep.
They got the semifinal, both semifinals. The final is not being held in Arlington, Texas for one reason and one reason alone. And that's because Arlington, Texas does not have public transportation.
Oh, snap. All right, Joe.
Yeah. It's a huge car park around. So you've got where the Cowboys play, and then 1.5 kilometers down the road is where the Texas Rangers play. And then across the street from that is where the Texas Rangers used to play and where the rugby team used to play. And it's where the XUFL, XFL plays. Then next to that, you've got a theme park, a ginormous theme park. Then just to the south of that, you've got a General Motors plant. So it's like everything is pocketed in like a little block this big. And then in between all of it is basically parking because that's all you get because there's no public transportation.
Has a car park.
Yeah. So that's why, like a U.S. can get all these things because they don't have to build anything. Like Los Angeles didn't have to build anything. They're building it because they want modernized things. But Los Angeles already has everything. As a matter of fact, the Los Angeles Olympics, there are 2 sporting events that are not being held in Los Angeles. They're being held in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. That would be the softball. The softball tournament is being held at the softball headquarters in Oklahoma City, and the rowing event is being held on the Canadian River in Oklahoma City. This is actually the headquarters of U.S. National Rowing. So these 2 events, and honestly, I might get me and my wife to head up to go watch something.
So the country hosting automatically gets granted access to play the game, right?
Yeah, you qualify immediately. That's why I'm not worried about the U.S. qualifying for 2031 Rugby World Cup because they're an automatic qualifier already.
But that's a joke, though. Like, surely you should still have to qualify.
Okay, here's a bit of useless info for you. In 2010, when you held the FIFA World Cup in South Africa,
Yeah.
South Africa had the distinction of being the most worst ranked host nation in the history of the games. You were ranked like I think 37th going into that tournament.
Yeah.
Obviously, you didn't even make it out of the pool.
Yeah.
That was held until Qatar had it, and Qatar was ranked like 64th when they held it, and their team wasn't even Qatari. Like 90% of them were imported players, and they still, once again, did not get out of
Yeah.
the pool.
Yeah.
Uh, and before you guys had it, it was the United States in '94. They were the worst ranked host nation, but they at least made the quarterfinal because
Yeah.
Colombia scored an own goal. But I think that's the other thing is that like you're going to see that a lot more going forward. Japan was not top 10 ranked when they hosted in 29. They've never been
Yeah.
top 10 ranked, but
Look, I mean, in 2019, I do think that Japan was good enough to to be able to qualify, regardless,
oh yeah, no, they were a
yeah.
good team. I mean, obviously beating Ireland in the pool in
And
2019.
Scotland.
Yeah,
They beat
yeah.
Scotland as well, right? No.
No, they beat Ireland. Yeah, I think so. I think yeah, because they made the quarterfinal. We all know who they played in the quarterfinal. They got the
Hmm.
brakes beat off
Absolutely.
of them by the mighty Springbok.
Yeah.
It was revenge for 2015 is what it
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
which
But even that warm, I actually I think the warm up game was more the revenge games because we
revenge
fucked them
game.
up proper there.
Yeah, because Rassi wanted to get that monkey off our back
Yeah.
real quick. That like this isn't gonna happen again, fellas. We're gonna beat the shit
Yeah.
out of these guys because I'm not Aniki.
Yeah. So no, look, I mean, I think they still need to be able to qualify. I honestly do not think that I do not think it's fair on the rest of the world. Okay, and I know the US ain't fair and they got
Yeah,
all the money.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
but I think it's not fair, to qualify if or purely based on the fact that you are the host,
The host nation. Yeah,
right? You're getting the benefit of all the tourism that it's going to bring. Okay,
yeah.
it is a fact. Okay, so I think you still have to be able to qualify because I mean, why are you there? Are you there just to be there, or are you there to try and win a competition? Okay, because that's why everybody else is there. They want to fucking win a competition.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
all right, or at least do so well that like it brings hope in their home nation, so that they can build the sport even greater.
Yeah,
Okay, in
yeah,
their home nation. Like I'm
definitely.
referring to teams like Spain, and I'm referring to
Yeah,
teams like these type of teams, like
yeah.
Fiji, like they want to like take it back to their countries and be like, look, we achieved something,
We're
right?
getting better.
And
We're getting better.
yeah, and
Yeah,
let's get like the kids growing up after
yeah.
us to also like get interest in the sport. I understand that, okay, but the difference is for me in terms of the US, and it might be a biased opinion, right? Is that you've already got all the fucking funding, okay, that you could possibly get. Okay, you've got the money in your country. Okay, what I'm trying
Oh
to say
yeah,
is,
yeah, yeah.
okay,
We don't need
there's
any.
other countries out there that's struggling, okay, to get their players to actually go to the fucking competition, okay, because of funding issues and stuff like that, right?
Well, we saw it with
So
Samoa in the end of the year tour. They had to cancel the tour. They didn't have the money.
yeah, but
Yeah,
this is what I'm saying is that these guys they're struggling, right? They're trying to make ends meet to get their players to go and compete on an international stage. Okay, and those guys actually what they do is they actually still win on one or two games, right? They
yeah.
do, they do, which is great. Okay, let's be honest. Okay, in whatever pool um, the USA is going to be in, they're going to be fucking pistol whipped by most of the teams in that fucking competition. Okay,
100%. 100%.
okay. Why? Why is the question for me is why? Because we've had this conversation plenty times before, and majority of the time it's because it's poor decision making outside World Cup phase. Okay, so what I'm saying is, like, there's no ground phase being put in place to actually grow the sport in the US. Okay, the people that do play in the competitions, they barely get paid money. Okay, they don't really get paid much. Okay, so the fact is that there's not enough motivation for people to want to go play the sport in the USA. Okay, and now you get this big fucking competition. Okay, which is should be great for growing the sport in your country. It should be.
It should be.
Okay,
Hopefully, it will be.
but still doubt that it's going to make any fucking difference.
Well,
Okay, because you need to have the people make the difference from the ground phase up. Okay, you've got the people. You've
yeah,
got fucking millions of people, like
360 million
350,
people.
60 million people.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, how many fucking teams do you have in terms of NFL, mate? Like fucking 50 or
32,
however many.
32. Yeah,
There's
32.
fucking plenty. Okay.
Yeah,
Then you got college level. Okay. Now let's be honest. These people playing provincial rugby by us, they are college level, mate.
yeah,
They are college age.
yeah,
Okay. You look at people like Kanan Moody. You look at people like Williamson when he started out. You
yeah,
look at
yeah.
all these people. They were fucking college level, mate. Like that's what the
Bronston
age was.
was 19. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
Same with Moody. He was 19, mate. Like so. So the question that I say is, can we get these guys to invest some money? Like we want a competitive USA because we want to beat the fuck out of you on an evil, oh, not evil, but like a level is what I'm trying to say on a level playing field. Okay, we don't want to just be the better team because we are. We're just the better team. Like there's nothing you can do about it at the moment. You can throw all the fucking money you want in the world. Okay, you can throw it around. It's not gonna make your team a better team than Springboks. It's not gonna happen.
yeah.
I
Well,
don't give a
yeah.
fuck who you can select
Seeing
from what
every other
country.
team. Yeah, it's not.
You you can go pull any fucking player out of any country in the world. It does not mean you're gonna have a team that's gonna be able to beat the Springboks.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just other teams can do it. Ireland can do it. Okay, they've already got like what 25% foreigners. Okay, there are teams out there
Yeah.
that's made up of other players. So I would like to see the ground phase. Like I can imagine. Okay, I do believe it deep in my heart that the USA can be a lot more competitive if they just do things the right way. Financially, number one, being more supportive towards the sport. Number two, getting that ground phase level going.
Mhm.
Okay, because there's a lot of things these people can do to get the ground phase going. Okay, so but unfortunately, we know that how the USA work. They like to see quick results because they're throwing money at something. They want to see the results now, and
Yep.
unfortunately, that ground phase building that's a long term approach, mate. That's going to be like 20 years from now, 30 years from now, maybe. You know that
Yeah.
you're going to be starting to see the investment pay off. So I don't know. I don't know.
It's yeah.
I still think they need to be able to qualify. I think they have to because at the end of the day, that maybe might make their eyes open a little bit when they see, oh fuck, we can't even get into a competition that we are hosting. You know,
Well,
we need to support our teams more.
that is as much as I hate soccer, as much as I hate FIFA, that is something I think they do correctly. There is no automatic other than the host nation, there is no automatic qualifying. You
Huh.
and if you don't believe me, Italy won a World Cup, the next World Cup they didn't even make it. I
Huh.
wish World Rugby would do that with rugby. There's no automatic qualification.
Yeah.
The Springboks have to hit the ground running as soon as it because now it's like if you make I think it's the 6 teams from the rugby or from the Six Nations and then the 4 teams from the rugby championship are all automatic qualifiers.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think if you didn't have automatic qualification, I don't think Australia would have qualified for the last World Cup. They wouldn't have even qualified.
Yeah. Look, man, I don't have a problem with like top 10 teams automatically qualifying, right?
Well, that's what we
Like
do. That's
I'm
what
fine
we
with that.
yeah,
Okay.
that's what we do
I
now.
honestly don't have any issue with that. I mean, if you're gonna like increase from 20 teams or 24 teams to let's say 30 teams, I know
Yeah.
you mentioned previously they wanted to increase the amount of people that
Uh,
qualify, right?
yeah, we went from 20 to 24 teams. The
Yeah,
tournament in Australia will have 4 additional teams.
yeah. So I mean, so that being said, if you go from 20 to 24, okay, there's still 14 spots up for grabs, okay, which is fine, okay.
Yeah.
You have your fucking local competitions, Northern America, Southern America, fucking Asia, whatever you want to fucking go. I don't give a shit what how they split up and who plays who against what, whatever the case might be, right? But the fact of the matter is, I think the top 10, like you need to. There's top 10 teams, okay. Everybody knows who the top 10 teams are most of the time. At least you know the top 6. You know, doesn't matter where you go. Like majority of people that watch rugby would know who's like the top 6 teams in the world. They would know. Okay. Um, and so that gives an opportunity to 14 other teams to try and put their best up against the world's elite. Okay. Now, our number 10 might never beat the top 5. Okay. Because let's be quite frank. Okay. When you have a look at those teams like Wales, okay, being like 11th or whatever they're
Yeah,
ranked now.
yeah.
Okay,
They're not beating anybody right now. They're not
they would
beating.
not beat any one of the top 5 teams.
Yeah, no.
Fucking, they can smoke their socks, they can eat it, they can do what the fuck they want. They're never going to do it. Not with the current setup. Okay. So that being said, like that gives these guys all the opportunity to once again put their best up against the world's best, right? Because let's be quite frank, Ireland, South Africa, New Zealand, France, Scotland, those are the world's best teams at the moment, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, we're like between 1 and 5. There's also a big difference. Okay, in my opinion. Okay, so let alone from 11 to 1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
So I don't even know what point I'm trying to make. It's just I think
well, we're
people
saying
need to
that
be
you
able to
shouldn't have
qualify.
automatic qualifiers if you're a host. Like
Yeah.
if you're a host nation. Well, I just took a look. I took a glance at how the qualification changed for this next World Cup.
Yeah.
It's over 2 years, not 3, and it looks like Africa got an additional qualifier, Asia got an additional qualifier, and Europe got 2 more additional qualifiers. So it didn't change for the Americas because we share it with South America. So we'll have Argentina's the automatic qualifier, and we'll get one extra spot, which honestly at this point in time it'll probably go to Uruguay, which is who it's been pretty much. And then all the other teams will compete in a secondary qualifying tournament. I didn't want to expand the Rugby World Cup tournament for one reason and one reason alone, and it's because when you have like everybody will hold up Fiji as like, oh, they're a tier 2 team that can occasionally beat tier 1 teams. That's Fiji. That's one.
Yeah.
For every one Fiji, you've got teams getting blown out by 100. You've got Namibias, you've got Tongas, you've got, you know what I mean? Like there's so many teams that don't even have a chance in qualifying or in winning a game against a tier 1 nation. And that's kind of why I didn't want the tournament to expand, because until you can get rid of, back in 95, when South Africa hosted, do you remember what New Zealand did to Japan in that tournament? They put up over 100 on them. They put up over 100 on them. Okay. What did we see in this last tournament? We saw New Zealand put 90 up on Italy. Until you stop seeing that in Rugby World Cup tournaments, you don't need to expand the tournament. That's just my personal opinion.
Especially, like I said, especially considering that team is so far below like the top tier teams.
Yeah. And I mean, Italy's a tier 1 team. They're an automatic qualifier. And they got put up 90 on them. Like until you can stop seeing that, you don't need to expand the tournament.
And the problem is that Italy would probably at the same time put 90 on that qualifying team.
Yeah. Italy would have put 90 up on the United States. Yeah. Like, I don't think that this next tournament you're going to see more competition. No, but I'll tell you what you will see. It's going to be a round of 16 instead of 8 in a quarterfinal. So guess what you might finally see for the first time in history? You might see Ireland make it out of the quarterfinal.
Thank you very much. Look, man, I honestly thought Ireland would make it out of that last one.
I picked them to beat the All Blacks in 2023. Do you know what final I picked? I picked Ireland and South Africa in the final.
Yeah, yeah. No, for sure. That's what I thought as well. Something along those lines. And so I was quite surprised because I mean we beat the brakes off New Zealand in that like
That
opening
that
game,
that
right? That
last
like
that
warm up
warm up
game.
game at Twickenham, we beat the
So
fucking brakes off of
So
them.
honestly, I didn't expect New Zealand to put like that type of game against
Yeah.
Ireland. I thought Ireland was going to be more competitive, and we saw that now recently. Same thing happening. Again, Ireland against New Zealand. What the fuck is going on,
Yeah,
bro?
Ireland
Like,
got absolutely schooled. Yeah.
and I mean, yeah, it's. I don't understand what is going on with Irish rugby at the moment, or what's going on with the players. Maybe there's an emotional switch off at the moment, or something because they should have won those games. I mean, in Ireland, they should have beaten New Zealand. But it seems like what happened to us in the past is what's happening to Ireland, and that is that you believe in that black jersey too much, right? You give it too much respect. Okay. And that's what I said the last time is that I wish we would stop giving as much respect to that jersey. Okay. Sure, we respect the New Zealand teams. Okay, we respect their players, we respect their people. But when you're out on that field, fuck you, mate. We're not fucking giving a shit who the fuck you are, what you've done in your past. Okay, today we're going to fucking hurt you. Okay, and that is the thing, right? Because
Did
if
did
you give too much respect,
did you see the video I put up? Did you see the video?
which one?
Give me just a second, man. Give me just a second.
Sure.
So you already know I bought a Scottish jersey, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you saw me wear it and whatever. So I have a colleague at work who went back home over the Thanksgiving holiday,
yeah.
and he picked me up something. And when I showed everybody this, their jaws dropped to the ground. Oh man, I don't know if you're ready for this, Pierre. Your head might explode.
Oh my god, bro.
It still has the tag on it here, man. It still
Was
has.
it to fucking burn down or what? What for? What reason?
So I wasn't mad at him for it. It was a gift, so I'm not
Yeah,
angry about it or anything. And like it's an official jersey. These things are not.
yeah.
I'm gonna see if it still has the price on the tag. These things are
No,
not.
bro. Like fucking, like, bro. I
This was
would love fucking to.
130 US dollars, and I'm
Yeah,
not mad at him for it. Like it's cool to say, hey, I
yeah,
do own an Irish jersey.
yeah.
But I ended up. I don't know if you ever watched the movie The Christmas Story about the little kid that wants a BB gun for Christmas.
Mhm.
Have you seen this film?
No.
No. It's set in like the 1940s. It's a kid who just wants a Red Ryder BB gun for Christmas, and it's the story of him trying to get that for Christmas. Well, on Christmas Day, he's opening up gifts, and of course, there's no Red Ryder BB gun because he's too young. His auntie, had sent him a gift, and it was like one of those onesies you wear when you're a toddler,
Yeah,
but it's a bunny costume with like ears. And the
yeah.
mom's like, go put it on right now. And he's like, no, I don't want to. My aunt thinks I'm like 5 years old still, and I'm like 10. So his mom raises hell. So he goes up, he comes back down the stairs wearing this like bunny costume. And she's like, oh my God, you look so cute. He looks like he is just miserable. Like,
Yeah.
so I said, that me having that jersey is that exact same image. It's like, oh, your aunt got it for you. You better act like you like it.
Uh,
Like, but I mean,
oh, look, man.
I'm thinking the guy got it. But yes, do we
Dude,
put?
you're a Jersey fucking fan, like
Yeah,
regardless of where it's from, mate.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Right? So you love jerseys, and I guess we actually respect Ireland as a team.
yeah,
We
yeah,
like to have hectic banter with the Irish public, but we don't give a shit because they also don't give a shit. We just like banter,
yeah.
and but the team is good. The team is good.
They just got
But
a
they're
damn
not them.
they got a Napoleon complex. They got that they're
Yeah,
the little guy
yeah,
that won something and now thinks that
yeah,
like, "Oh, everybody should respect us." It's
yeah. Yeah, look, I mean, it's taken us how long? Fucking 30 years this year. 30 years and 4 World Cups, and people still struggle to respect us, mate. So,
put some motherfucking
you know what?
respect
Get
on
the
that
fuck out of here.
name. No, agreed 100%. But I got one last thing I wanted to show you
Yeah.
before we head off for this episode, and I got to give a shout out to my in-laws
Hmm.
because they fucking rule. I have to show you what they
Hmm.
sent us for Christmas.
Dun, dun, dun.
Look at all that, man.
God damn. God ham.
Yeah, they ordered some Omaha steaks for us. So we
Yeah.
got steaks, burger patties, hot dogs, everything. So I got to give a shout out. I know as a South African that you respect
Yeah.
meat because
We respect the beef, man.
as a person that was look, I'll tell everybody the story here. I was a vegetarian.
Motherfucker.
We're not to be trusted. We're not to be trusted. Oh, until you get to South Africa, where
Yeah.
vegetarianism is about as common as a snowman.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it is hard to
Like
be a
there
vegetarian.
there is some lettuce on your burger patty on your burger.
That's your
Okay.
vegetarian.
So you're getting some veggies in, mate.
But like, and funny enough, the only vegetarian South Africans I have ever met have all been online,
Yeah.
and they all come from the same place.
Yeah. Look, man.
What province do you think they come from?
Fuck, bro. Like it's one or two that I would guess. I would guess either Cape Town or
Ding 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 ding.
yeah,
You got it. You got
yeah,
California, South Africa. That's where the
yeah.
vegetarians I know in South Africa.
So the thing is, I know some vegetarians, and they're generally fucking skinny as shit. Okay, so like, of course, man. Like, if you want some muscle, bro, like just follow old Ox's philosophy, man.
Salads don't win. Dude, I've been trying to get that guy. I'm like, hey man, will you show people that you actually eat vegetables just so they know that you're healthy? And he's never replied, but I'm
Yeah.
afraid that one day when he does reply, do you know what he's gonna show me? A candy bar. That's my vegetable because cocoa beans are a vegetable.
Look, man. Yeah, that fuck, man. Like, I don't know if I could. I could have never been a vegetarian. Never, not once ever in my life. I've not even ever
You've never even thought about
contemplated
it.
it. I've
Yeah.
It's like blasphemy to me. Like I can't even imagine it. Like why would you want to like take all the juiciness out of your life? Like why the fuck do you do it to yourself? Like don't come tell me, yo, but you could cook that tofu like this and what? Fuck right off, bro. Like you don't know what it is to have a juicy steak on your fucking plate.
Dude, I think it's so much part of the South African culture because people I've seen the argument of what is the national food of South Africa, and it's like
Yeah.
honestly, black,
The
white,
booty.
brown, yellow, the
Mm.
braai is the South African staple. And the braai consists of meat.
Yeah.
It's not there's
Like
nothing.
if you're gonna bring your vegetables for me to braai on the meat, like on the braai, like I'll
Yeah,
tell you to fuck right off. And I'm not meaning like
yeah,
fuck right off, like as in don't come close to my bra. I'd be like,
yeah.
get the fuck out of my house and go to your fucking house. Go eat your shit there. No,
Uh,
thank you.
Billy Connolly, the Scottish comedian, was talking about how like he's at work, and if somebody comes in 2 minutes before you close, you tell them to fuck off. And that doesn't mean like take your time. It means fuck off. Like go away now, not tomorrow. Now. Like fuck
So,
off. That's
so
that's
I,
what
fi-
you mean by it. You mean get the fuck away from me now.
I've got some temporary, like some appies that come work for us.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
they're like day workers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So generally, I pay them on a Monday.
Hmm.
Okay, so that I try and get them to live through their week type thing. Okay, because
Don't
if I
pay
pay
them
them on
and
a
then they don't show
Friday,
up
they're
to work
gonna
the next day.
they no, no, no. If I pay them on a Friday, they're gonna go fucking getting pissed on the weekend, spend all
And
their
then they'll be
fucking
broke
money.
as
By
fuck
Monday,
on
they got
Monday.
fuck all. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I pay them on a Monday, right? So anyway, so on Mondays and then sometimes I pay them at 9 o'clock in the morning, sometimes at 1. Depends on how my day's going.
Hmm.
Okay, so I think it was last week or the week before my one day work. He sends me a message, but he's been working for us for quite some time. So, anyways, he's moving to Australia soon. The fucker. I'm like so annoyed about it because he was such a good employee. Anyways,
Yeah, yeah.
so he sends me a message. Look, I just want to find out. Are we getting paid today, or what? So I was
Mhm.
like, so my reply to him, fuck off. That was my fucking reply to him. Exactly just that. Fuck off.
Yeah.
and but now I'm sitting there in my office and I can hear him on the floor reading the message
And just
because he just
laughing
cracks up
fast.
laughing, right?
Yeah,
So he's
yeah.
just laughing his ass off. So I was just like, yeah,
What a, what a
that's
what a
about it.
professional conversation between you and your manager, and I can say I've had the exact same ones. My boss at my work, I know she doesn't listen, and if she does, she doesn't care.
Yeah.
We used to party together.
Yeah,
Like
snap. All right.
I used to like I bought her as a actual gift. I bought her a 24-ounce can of premium malt liquor, which is like ghetto beer here.
Yeah.
And she sends me a snap an hour later of her pouring that shit out because she doesn't drink that crap. And like I used to call her like all kinds of like ghetto like hood radia and all this kind of stuff because she was like in the
Yeah.
club and doing like young 20 something things and shit like that. But now
Yeah.
she's my boss. We're close to the same age, and it's kind of funny how she's like, you grew up and I grew up. And I'm like, yeah. But I was like, the conversations we've had are like not what you'd have with your boss. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's just, but it's cool though because we have that rapport with each other. And if she said fuck off to me, I'd laugh too. Like I'd be
Yeah.
like, where'd you learn that from? Like because we don't say that in America. We don't say fuck off in America. We don't
Yeah.
say piss off. Like neither of those things. Like
Yeah.
I find myself having to explain like saying you're getting pissed. Here, getting pissed means you're getting angry. Overseas,
Yeah.
when you're getting pissed, it means you're getting fucking drunk.
No, drunk as
Really
shit, right?
drunk, like really drunk. What was the other word for it in South? Was that bobble?
Now, Babalas is the next morning when you wake
That's
up.
the
Feel
hangover.
the
That's
fucking
the
hangover.
hangover. Yeah, which it's a onomatopoeia because that's really how your guts feel.
Yeah. So that same guy, because he's leaving for Australia, right?
Yeah.
So we're all giving him a true South African send off. Okay.
Like, fuck off.
So
So
so every day, because he's going to be around a bunch of English people over there,
yeah.
we obviously, so every day I'm like, hey, puss, come here. I'm calling him, right? And then like like the other guys that work around him, the one's like, "Hey, Noel, komiso," and then another guy's like, "Hey, Duas, komiso," So everybody's calling him a different cuck name, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
a curse name, like, but it's like true South African fashion, right? So it's just like that. So, but it's not intended in like a bad way, right?
yeah, yeah.
Because but we like you're gonna remember these words when you out there in that fucking country that they call fucking Australia, okay,
Disclaimer,
with those
folks.
bunch of
South
pansies.
African South African comedy is not for everyone.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's very mean
So
sounding at times, but it's all in good fun.
no, we try, man.
So
We just wanted him to remember us. You know what I mean? Like when he's over there, he's gonna walk one day and he's gonna hear somebody call him a puss, and he's gonna be like, "Oh, my heart, I miss South Africa so much right now." It's like that type of thing. And he's gonna be like, "Oh, I remember those guys when they sent me off, like after we left South Africa. Those oaks, they like, that's what we want. We want him to remember us because I mean, we hope that we've inspired him in life and really helped him out because we taught him from scratch. He never had a job before. We trained him quite a lot. He learned a lot in the short time frame that he was there, and we
so
wish
it's gonna
him
be a big
the best of
loss,
luck.
obviously.
Yeah, I know it's going to be a big loss. So, just a shout out from myself. I don't even know if he's watching the stuff, but give it hope wherever you go, man. You take care of yourself, mate.
Um One last thing I'll say before we go is we are exactly 7 months and 1 week away until the Springboks plague.
God, it's so long.
July 5th against Italy will be the day after Independence Day here, so it'll be bloody hot as shit here when we play again. But yeah.
Don't
So
tell me about hot as shit, mate. Like I've been fucking dying this week.
hold on. What was the high today there in Joburg?
Look, bro, like this fucking stuff says it's this temperature and that temperature, but it's fucking lying, mate. Like I measured like 37 this week. I've measured 35 this week. I've measured 37 again this week. I don't even know what it says today was, but like probably close to like 35. I heard somebody say it was like 60 in fucking Sunini the other day. Like, so yeah, it's been
It's
fucking hot here.
we're going through a bit of a hot spell here. The high today is supposed to be 21 and it's December. It should never get above like 13, 14. But
Yeah.
yesterday was absolutely beautiful. Like when we went out, it was in the low 20s, sunny as hell, which was nice. But yeah, so until next week, sir, we'll be back
Yeah.
again with more bullshit because that's what we
Are
do.
we going to be back though? I don't know. When are we doing our last show
What
for this year?
for this year?
Yeah,
Shit.
in
Let me
December.
look at the damn calendar here, man.
We're on the 15th December now.
Because I don't think we're gonna do one the 27th, which is after Christmas. Because I think
Yeah.
neither of us will want to do, or the 28th, no 29th. We
Yeah,
won't do it.
I
So
might not be here next week this time.
okay,
So
so maybe this
yeah,
might be the
so,
last one for the year. Maybe we don't come back till the 5th.
yeah.
I'll probably do a small one by myself on the 22nd. But
Mm.
if
But I'll keep you
this is
updated, mate.
if this is the last episode of the year, we started off doing this shit as a podcast on podcasting, and now we've moved
Yeah.
into a YouTube live.
Mm.
It's been fun. I think I think because of the time, we get more viewers after the fact than we do during the
Yeah,
fact,
for
which
sure.
I understand. I get it. It's just not, it's not a good time for some people. But um, I'm still
Hey, bro.
coming.
Look, I mean, it's still fun.
I'm
That's the
still
point.
coming next year. It's gonna happen. I just don't know when. My health is getting better. I'm sleeping again, which is nice. I've been on a
Yeah.
CPAP machine for a while now. I need to get my
So,
weight under control. So yeah, but
so the house that I'm building has got an extra. Well, not building that I'm buying.
yeah.
It's got an extra room in the backyard that's separate. It's got its own bathroom and everything.
Damn, so you're
Right?
gonna make
So,
us sleep in the shed in the backyard? That's fucked up.
well, it's actually a house, mate. It's like almost like its own fucking. Uh,
You
it's
Americans
really
can
nice to
sleep
put
in the
up here,
shed
yeah.
in the back. Like,
Yeah, motherfucker. You can be glad because I have to sleep in a fucking teepee.
dude, don't knock on that. I've slept in one of those before. That motherfucker stays warm, dude. Like that shit.
We don't need it to stay warm in South Africa, mate.
Yeah.
Like, no thanks.
But yeah.
It's,
So until next year for Pierre, possibly,
yeah,
we will see you
yeah,
guys
man.
very soon.
I'd just like to say thanks to everybody that's been supporting us during this journey, man. Like, it's been fucking hella fun this last while. And of course, myself and Keith, we've been doing this now, it's now a year and a half almost, eh,
Yeah,
mate?
yeah,
Like,
man. We've been doing this
going
for
on
a
this.
hot fucking minute, man.
Yeah. So we just like to thank everybody, like, that's been coming with us on this journey. And of course, it's changed from platform to platform this last while, but woo!
Yeah.
No, man, I just like to say thank you to everybody. And like, I really look forward to another year of banter and shit talking and me defending my shit talking title next year, against Keith. And we'll see. We'll see. It seems like, based on the videos that he's made and the type of people that get fucked off at him, that he might beat me this year coming.
It's a hard job, but I'm learning from a master in
There we
Boxburg,
go, mate.
Ha Tang. I'm learning well. The teacher is becoming the student. So, but
Yeah.
we'll see you guys again soon.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you all.